And it was so difficult. But I found a way. Jesus helped me get through this and carry forward. If that,
Mr. Melton.
yes, sir.
Overruled. Overruled.
Mr. Melton, I'm going to ask you, sir, did law enforcement continue to reach out to you at certain times during the investigation?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When they reached out to you, would they ask you for things or ask you questions, or what would they talk to you about?
Just different things. I'm sorry, it's hard for me to get my thoughts together at the moment.
Well, that's okay. Let me ask you this. At any point, did you refuse to speak with law enforcement or retain an attorney to speak with law enforcement?
No, sir.
Okay. What was your mindset as far as, why you were continuing to be cooperative with the investigation?
I always believed that the truth would set me free. I had nothing to hide.
Mr. Melton, thank you very much. I don't have any other questions for you right now.
Cross-examination, Mr. Cruz.
Good morning, Mr. Melton. My name is Attorney Ahmad Cruz. I have the privilege and honor of representing Mr. Faust. And under the authority of this court, I'm going to ask you some questions, okay?
Certainly.
Okay. Why didn't you cry?
When?
Just now. Why didn't any tears fall out of your eyes?
They are falling out.
Okay. Well, let's talk about January 19th. Would you agree that today you were much more emotional than you were on the day that you learned of Ms. Baker's death?
I was holding it together best I could.
So your borderline fiance is murdered and you were holding it together on the 19th, but 25 years later, you have emotion about it?
In that moment, when I'm finding this out.
Mr. Melton, that's a yes or no question.
Judge, the witness is allowed to answer Mr. Cruz's question.
That's correct.
When this tragedy occurred, and I'm taking this information in, I am telling myself inside, do not collapse in this moment. Hold it together. There are other people that are also relying on you. And I had to get through this. And that's where I'm at.
Who was relying on you during your initial interview with police?
The police, her family, her friends, anyone who loved her.
So the police were relying on you to hold it together during the interview?
If I'm not holding it together, I can't think things through.
Sure. Did you know that your DNA was found in Ms. Baker's anus?
I was informed.
Who told you that?
Liz and Jeremy from the GBI.
When did they tell you that? Because in the recorded interview that we have, they didn't mention that to you.
That's my recollection.
My question is when? When did they tell you?
If that's not the correct recollection, I'm not sure at this moment.
Let me ask you this. When was the last time you met with the state?
This morning,
Okay. And they talked to you about your testimony?
we went over what the courtroom would be like.
Okay. So this is rehearsed. Is that fair to say?
I wouldn't say rehearsed.
But you went over it not just this morning. You went over it a couple of times last week. Is that right?
We have established a process in which would occur in this courtroom as far as steps that are taken once I get here or whatnot.
Okay. So the questions that you were asked today, you already knew you were going to be asked those questions, correct?
Yes.
Mr. Melton, I am going to
Can I say something to this?
At this moment.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Melton, would you like a slim mark or a big marker?
Slim.
All right. Let the record reflect that I am going to give you a black Sharpie, okay? I'd like you to write the very first time that you mentioned during your direct examination in regards to your actions or where you went on January 19, 2001. Do you understand that?
Yes.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
May?
Can you please write the first place you went on January 19th on that board there?
And, Your Honor, I would ask that if Mr. Cruz is going to ask the witness to engage in whatever this is, that be repositioned to a place where the jury can actually see it.
I could do that. We'll start on page 2.
We'd like to also be able to see it. I guess, Judge, do you want us to move, or do you
No, I
want
think-
him to move it over there?
Mr. Cruz, I think perhaps moving that back would be best for everyone to take a look at it. Thank you, Mr. Hill.
Sure.
All right, yes, sir. You may proceed.
Sure. Can you write the first place you went and the time that you went to that location? Okay, so I want to make sure I'm correct. You wrote Nash Plumbing 7:30 to 7:45. Okay, so you remember from January 19, 2001, you went to Nash Plumbing between those times. Is that fair to say? Okay, but you could not remember when law enforcement asked you if you knew Ms. Baker was going to be alone in 2006? You can take a seat, Mr. Melton.
Along the way, I'm questioned about certain things, and I pull up my best recollection. Post this, I've been traumatized. I'm grieving. My mind is certain things and certain times. It's hard to pull from. And in those moments, stress also, in times, it's more difficult than others in certain moments to recollect certain things. And, sir.
Let me catch up. So it's easier to recollect alibi than it is to recollect whether or not the girl that you love told you that she was going to be home alone.
Remember, this question is argumentative and improper.
Sustained.
Sure. So it's easy to remember where you went on the 19th. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Mr. Melton, so after you left Nash Plumbing, where did you go?
After I left Nash Plumbing, I went to the bank.
Okay. Can you write the time that you arrived at the bank on the board? You can just put bank and then you can put the time. Okay. Sure. So just to ask you, so you can remember that you went to Nash Plumbing, and then after that, you can remember that you went to the bank from January 19, 2001.
That's correct.
Okay. But you cannot remember from January 18th whether or not Ms. Baker told you she was going to be alone?
At that time, it could depend on when the question's asked. It's not, if it's in a stressful moment, I'm going through things and trying to pull from times prior to this, when I'm not trying to, how should I say, lock in on certain things previous to this, it is difficult.
Okay. Would you agree?
Previous to to her death. Go ahead.
I didn't hear you. Say that one more time.
I should say, it's like certain days, if somebody asks you what you had for breakfast, I couldn't tell you. But if I'm concentrating on after certain times, yes, I can, on certain things. But it's hard to describe.
So I'll switch gears because I do want to talk about a difficult subject with you. You mentioned that you were told that your DNA was in Miss Baker's anus. Is that right?
Yes, there was a point in time.
Okay.
I found out.
And we've agreed that that time didn't occur during your recorded interview. Is that right?
I can't recall.
Fair. That is fair. So let me ask you this, Mr. Melton. You would agree that Ms. Baker did not engage in anal sex with you. Is that correct?
That's correct.
You would agree that Ms. Baker was sexually assaulted anally. Is that correct?
I wouldn't really know if she was sexually assaulted anally. Like, I don't.
Well, we can't have it both ways, Mr. Melton.
I don't understand
You previously stated that Ms. Baker, not Ms. Baker, I'm sorry, Ms. Bigham
I see.
and Jeremy Howell told you that your DNA was in her anus. Can we agree on that? Is that fair to say?
Maybe I'm mistaken on how I found that information out. Maybe.
I'm going to object to lack of personal knowledge. Mr. Cruz is asking this witness about information that was relayed to him as hearsay by other witnesses who had the actual information. So I think that's both lack of personal knowledge as well as calling for hearsay.
All right. Any response to the objection, Mr. Cruz?
Sure. Mr. Melton stated that he was aware that his DNA was found in Ms. Baker's anus. He stated that Ms. Bigham and Jeremy Howell were the individuals that told him, and we're fleshing out his knowledge in regards to what he's aware of, Your Honor.
I think as to the form of the question, I'm going to sustain the objection. You may rephrase if you choose to do so.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor. But there should be no reason that your DNA should be in Ms. Baker's anus. Would you agree?
I mean, other than if we have had sex and it has transferred from there and, say, drained down to that area. But
That is interesting that you say drain, because did you know that's the exact same thing the state is arguing in this case?
I mean, it makes sense, though.
So your DNA is in her anus because it drained down in her anus. Is that your position?
I would say that would.
Again, Your Honor, lack of personal knowledge, lack of foundation. There's been no foundation laid that Mr. Melton's aware of these things. That would all be through GBI crime lab witnesses who do have personal knowledge and scientific information. And so there's no foundation for these questions, and he's asking for things that are outside of Mr. Melton's personal knowledge. He's asking about things that
I would object to a speaking objection, Your Honor, and just ask the state to state the ground.
Okay, I'm going to overrule that objection. He was just explaining his objection. I'm going to respond in the same way as the last objection. I'm going to sustain the objection as to the form of the question, allow you to rephrase if you choose to do so.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor. Would you agree that in order for your DNA to drain into Ms. Baker's anus, you would have to have sex with her? Can we agree on that point?
Agree.
Okay. Did you have sex with Ms. Baker the day of her death?
No, sir.
The last time you saw Ms. Baker, was it 6 days before or 10 days before?
From the beginning, I've said I saw her the weekend prior.
From the beginning, you've said that?
Yes, sir.
That you've seen her the weekend, and that has always been what you said?
There was a time that I was confused, and it was 20 plus years later. And then I made a statement that I felt like maybe it was 10 days prior, and I was confused at that point because I have